At hand was only one man, a tall, thin chap, with a okay nose and a pointed beard, with a few white hairs runnin' through it. He had a hard, cold look and red eyes, and I took a sort of mislike to him, for it seemed as if it was 'im as they was irritated at. He 'ad white kid gloves on 'is 'ands, and he pointed out the animals to me and says, "Keeper, these wolves seem upset at something." "Maybe it's you," says I, for I did not like the airs as he give hisself. He didn't get angry, as I 'oped he would, but he smiled a kind of insolent smile, with a mouth full of white, sharp teeth. "Oh no, they wouldn't like me," he says. "Oh yes, they would," says I, imitatin' of him. "They always likes a bone or two to clean their teeth on about tea time, which you as a bagful." Well, it was a odd thing, but when the animals see us talkin', they lay down, and when I went over to Bersicker he let me stroke his ears same as ever. That there man kem over, and blessed but if he didn't put in his hand and stroke the old wolf's ears too. "Take care," says I, "Bersicker is quick." "Never mind," he says. "I'm used to 'em. Are you in the business yourself?" I says, taking off my hat, for a man what trades in wolves, etc., is a good friend to keepers. "No," says he, "not exactly in the business, but I've made pets of several." And with that he lifts his hat as perlite as a lord, and walks away. Old Bersicker kep' lookin' arter 'im till 'e was out of sight, and then went and lay down in a corner and wouldn't come hout the whole hevening. Well, larst night, so soon as the moon was hup, the wolves here all began owling. There warn't nothing for them to owl at. There warn't no one near, except someone that was evidently callin' a dog somewheres out back of the gardings in the Park Road. Once or twice I went out to see that all was right, and it was, and then the bowling stopped. Just before 12 o'clock I just took a look round afore turnin' in, and, bust me, but when I kem opposite to old Bersicker's cage I see the rails broken and twisted about and the cage empty. And that's all I know for certain. Did anyone else see anything? One of our gardeners was comin' 'ome about that time from a harmony, when he sees a big grey dog comin' out through the garden edges. At least, so he says, but I don't give much for it myself, for if he did, he never said a word about it to his missus when he got 'ome, and it was only after the escape of the wolf was made known, and we had been up all night a-huntin' of the park for Bersicker, that he remembered seein' anything. My own belief was that the harmony 'ad got into his EAD. Now, Mr. Builder, can you account in any way for the escape of the wolf? Well, sir, he said, with a suspicious sort of modesty, I think I can, but I don't know as how you'd be satisfied with the theory. Certainly I shall. If a man like you, who knows the animals from experience, can't hazard a good guess at any rate, who is even to try? Well then, sir, I accounts for it this way. It seems to me that wolf escaped simply because he wanted to get out. From the hearty way that both Thomas and his wife laughed at the joke I could see that it had done service before, and that the whole explanation was simply an elaborate sell. I couldn't cope in badinage with the worthy Thomas, but I thought I knew a surer way to his heart, so I said, "Now, Mr. Builder, we'll consider that first half-sovereign worked off, and this brother of his is waiting to be claimed when you've told me what you think will happen." "Right sir," he said briskly. "Ye'll excuse me, I know, for chaffin' of ye, but the old woman here winked at me, which was as much as telling me to go on." "Well, I never," said the old lady. "My opinion is this, that wolf is Aiden of, somewheres. The gardener what didn't remember said he was gallopin' northward faster than a horse could go, but I don't believe him, for, yer see, sir, wolves don't gallop no more nor dogs does, they not bein' built that way. Wolves is fine things in a storybook, and I dessay when they gets in packs and does be chivying somethin' that's more afeard than they can make a devil of a noise and chop it up, whatever it is. But, lor, bless you, in real life a wolf is only a low creature, not half so clever or bold as a good dog, and not half a quarter so much fight in him. This one ain't been used to fightin' or even to providin' for hisself, and more like he's somewhere round the park hidin' and shiverin' of, and, if he thinks at all, wonderin' where he is to get his breakfast from, or maybe he's got down some area and is in a coal cellar. My eye, won't some cook get a rum start when she sees his green eyes shining at her out of the dark? If he can't get food he's bound to look for it, and mayhap he may chance to light on a butcher's shop in time. If he doesn't, and some nursemaid goes walkin' orf with a soldier, leavin' of the hinfant in the perambulator, well, then I shouldn't be surprised if the census is one babby the less. That's all. I was handing him the half-sovereign, when something came bobbing up against the window, and Mr. Builder's face doubled its natural length with surprise. God bless me, he said. If there ain't old Bersicker come back by hisself. He went to the door and opened it, a most unnecessary proceeding it seemed to me. I have always thought that a wild animal never looks so well as when some obstacle of pronounced durability is between us. A personal experience has intensified rather than diminished that idea. After all, however, there is nothing like custom, for neither Builder nor his wife thought any more of the wolf than I should of a dog. The animal itself was as peaceful and well-behaved as that father of all picture wolves Red Riding Hood's quondam friend, whilst moving her confidence in masquerade. The whole scene was an unutterable mixture of comedy and pathos. The wicked wolf that for half a day had paralyzed London and set all the children in the town shivering in their shoes, was there in a sort of penitent mood, and was received and petted like a sort of vulpine prodigal son. Old Builder examined him all over with most tender solicitude, and when he had finished with his penitence said, "There, I knew the poor old chap would get into some kind of trouble, didn't I say it all along? Here's his head all cut and full of broken glass. 'E's been gettin' over some bloomin' wall or other. It's a shime that people are allowed to top their walls with broken bottles. This air's what comes of it. Come along, Bersicker." He took the wolf and locked him up in a cage, with a piece of meat that satisfied, in quantity at any rate, the elementary conditions of the fatted calf, and went off to report. I came off, too, to report the only exclusive information that is given today regarding the strange escapade at the zoo. Dr. Seward's Diary. September 17th. I was engaged after dinner in my study posting up my books, which, through press of other work and the many visits to Lucy, had fallen sadly into arrear. Suddenly the door was burst open, and in rushed my patient, with his face distorted with passion. I was thunderstruck, for such a thing as a patient getting of his own accord into the superintendent's study is almost unknown. Without an instant's pause he made straight at me. He had a dinner knife in his hand, and, as I saw he was dangerous, I tried to keep the table between us. He was too quick and too strong for me, however, for before I could get my balance he had struck at me and cut my left wrist rather severely. Before he could strike again, however, I got in my right and he was sprawling on his back on the floor. My wrist bled freely, and quite a little pool.